The night's highlight, Hillary Clinton will formally accept her party's nomination for president. And as we mentioned earlier, she will be introduced by her daughter, Chelsea. We showed you part of our exclusive interview with her in our last half hour, and Chelsea had more to say about the history that will be made in Philadelphia tonight.
For the current and next president of the United States, Bill Clinton.
And I move that Hillary Clinton be selected as the nominee of the Democratic Party for president.
You are breathing kind of rarefied air. You are the only person to have both of your parents receive the Democratic nomination for president. How do you put that in perspective?
Just with a lot of gratitude. I mean, I'm incredibly grateful to my parents for always kind of believing in hard work and believing in never giving up, and also a lot of humility. So I certainly kind of feel it's important to me to support them, to respect this opportunity and this trust they've been given by Democrats, and I certainly hope that my mom will prevail in November.
As a daughter, Chelsea, I don't know where you were, but what was it like to sit and watch a television and hear people in an arena chanting, "Lock her up," hear Donald Trump say, "Crooked Hillary"? How do you digest that?
Well, Matt, as proud as I am as a daughter, my most important identity now is as a mother. And so, when I was kind of watching what was happening, what was being said in Cleveland last week, I just kept thinking about what my mom has said repeatedly when people have asked her similar questions. She says, she's tough and she can take whatever people say about her.
Yeah, but it's harder for a family member.
Well, but really, no, as a mom, what I found so disturbing were the things that were being said on a national stage. I mean, literally on the stage and off the stage, around the convention, about women, about minorities, about Muslims, about immigrants. I mean, that's not what I want my children to hear. That's not representative of the country that I want my children to grow up in. And so that actually I found far more upsetting as a mom, as a woman, as an American, and even as my mother's daughter than anything they said about my mom.
But I'm wondering if you can have an impact here as a daughter. And by the way, this goes both ways. Your mom and her surrogates have been out there saying some pretty terrible things about Donald Trump, calling him a fraud and a bigot and things like that. You're a daughter. You know Ivanka Trump, right? Would you consider her a friend?
Absolutely.
Why not convene a summit, a children's summit, maybe just a daughter's summit? You and Ivanka sit down over a cup of coffee and discuss tone and discuss what it's like to hear those things coming out of the other candidate's mouth about the person you love.
Well, it isn't something that had occurred to me, but it's certainly something I would consider. I think it was clear last week when Ivanka introduced her dad that she's so proud of him. I hope it will be kind of at least as clear why I'm so proud of my mom when I introduce her here in Philadelphia. And yet clearly Ivanka and I have very different views about who we think should be our president, who we think
but you're both
best
daughters.
Represents our country.
You both love these people. I mean, it's clear, Chelsea, that Donald Trump is willing to bring up some of the darkest moments of your family's past as an issue. Would you sit down with Ivanka and say, that shouldn't fit into the rules of engagement?
Well, I don't expect her to always have to defend her father. I mean, I think it's clear that Mr. Trump is kind of running his campaign and saying what he thinks is important in this election. I think what we're seeing here in Philadelphia is a very strong contrast to that. I mean, my mother's not engaging in divisive, bigoted rhetoric.
Did you write your own speech?
So I wrote a draft, and one of my mom's terrific speechwriters, a woman named Megan, wrote a draft, and we've kind of melded them together. And another kind of working mom moment, yesterday I was breastfeeding Aiden and practicing with Megan, and she was giving me feedback, and I was exchanging ideas. So it's been, even Aiden has contributed to the speech.
There's so much discussion about what your dad will be called if your mom becomes the next president of the United States. Have you talked about it at home?
Well, we have talked about it,
So
partly because we've all been asked about it so much.
What does he want to be called?
Well, he likes to harken back to his kind of Irish roots, so I think he'd love to be called First Laddie. But
That's probably not going to catch on.
No, I don't think so. So I'm definitely voting for First Gentleman.
I decided after only one day of Matt Love, I'm going now to First Laddie.
First Laddie.
I like that better.
It's got a ring to it, doesn't it?
It'll be interesting to see how she does tonight. I don't think she loves the spotlight, So stepping on that stage is going to be a big deal for her.
Can you imagine the pressure for any of these children of political candidates? Amazing to stand up and do it.
Hello, Today fans. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking that button down there and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives.